We're live. Hello and welcome to Conscious Gatherers. My name is Beverly Thompson and I'm with AJ Royce.
Hello, everybody.
All right, well, welcome. Today's date is December the 26th, 2024. So this is our last podcast for 2024 and we welcome you all. And this is episode 136. So our second live, and we're still finding our way around how to do this. So be patient. So anyway, we do welcome you all. And if anybody is here with the chat, you're welcome to ask questions as we go. So appreciate that. And we'll see your chat right on our screen and we'll make it happen. All right. Well, by the way, happy holidays to you all.
Yes, and happy holidays. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yes. Well, I definitely had a Merry Christmas. I have a lot of family and grandchildren. And I tell you what, it's kind of a zoo, but it's really so much fun watching these little faces. So really enjoyed it all. A lot of food, too, of course. And you, Royce?
Oh, had a lovely time. A lovely time. Got to see some of my family, and it was beautiful.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, and here we are, just a few days, and it'll be 2025. And I did name this onto 2025. Since we usually don't know what the title of our episodes are, that may be changed because we're not sure what we're going to get. And so as in our insights. So as we tune in for every episode that we do get a lot of information. And of course, we did today. So we're going to share that with you. So it's been an interesting day. Do you agree with that, Royce?
I do.
And we're going to see if we can explain a lot of what came through. And I was thinking as especially with Royce talking and I'm asking questions, et cetera, and seeing things too. And so I thought, geez, kind of nice to even capture that on film. But, the time we're like in the, what do you call it? In the stream.
In the zone.
In the zone there. Mm-hmm. There you go. So anyway, we got to definitely have exciting times ahead. And oh boy, things are as you know, is ramping up on this earth plane and beyond.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So
we don't think about things ramping up for them as well, for the higher realms as we think about it, the different dimensions and stuff. And we don't think of that as something that is evolving as well, but it is.
Definitely is. And we found a little bit about more of that today, which we're going to explain after what we're going to share our insights. And then we're going to share some of the communication we had with some of the beings, which I feel it's also was from who we talked to was now over 2 weeks ago, because we're doing our podcast not on Tuesdays. Today's Thursday, obviously, because of Christmas. But we'll be back the next time on Tuesday, which will be January the 7th. So we'll be live. So please join us. We appreciate that. And time, because she has to drive, I would 4:30 works best for you, right?
Sure. 4:30. And if we have to change it, we will, but we will let you know.
Yeah. We try to put out a notification. I realized I put out the notification earlier today. So it's been hectic at my house. So I like, today's kind of like, just to relax and tune in day. And boy, I had the beings and our Lala, as she called herself this a couple of weeks ago. And I feel that she's the one that stepped forth today. But really her and quite a few others on a ship. And she had said a couple of weeks ago that she's from the Ashtar Command Center. Mm-hmm. So obviously on a ship. And so we'll explain what we saw and what we experienced as we were watching this whole thing unfold. So I was like, whoa. So it was pretty cool. It was very cool. So hang in there and we'll get to it and what we realized today. So And the big word was entrapment
Yeah.
that came forth. And so we're going to get into that in just a bit. So, all right, you ready to share?
I am.
All right, you want me to go first?
Sure.
All right, this is my insight this afternoon, and I'm just going to share it with you. And I'm going to put on my glasses just to make sure I can see properly. All right, I kept hearing the hand that serves. And I heard that over and over and over again. And coming out of meditation, I was deep and I was gone. But by the time I came back, I kept hearing the hand that serves. I'm thinking, okay, time to write. And so I did. So here is what came forth. I said, put your hand forth and welcome the entourage that is to follow. Prophecy of mankind, excuse me. Prophecy of mankind is to flourish, and flourish it will. The lives who decidedly take on these roles to bring the populace in alignment with Source. What does this mean? What does this mean to be in alignment with Source? We do hear that quite a bit from lots of different people. What does that really mean? And here we go. It is the source of your eternal being, letting go of the final shackles of the controllers. The medium of this change is the energetic flow of ultimate power bestowed on much of humanity. Yeah. Remember that, we are all powerful beings. Say that over and over and over again until we really get it. Be aware of the coming turmoil that will last but a millisecond. So really in the whole of our lives within Source is a millisecond. But we are going through some turmoil, and we've talked about this, and a lot of revelations coming forth that have been happening, and may have happened today. We just have not tuned into that because we want to concentrate on this. So anyway, I'm going to continue. I'm going to repeat that sentence because I cut you off right in the middle of it. Be aware of the coming turmoil that will last but a millisecond for you, humanity, to see through what has gone before you. That old vision made manifest, interesting, is quickly waning into oblivion. It is upon the sacred crown you wear upon your heads to peacefully enter the new kingdom. It is this newness of being that shall never be forsaken. It is almost done. The true awakening is almost done. There you go. To me, it's a very positive message, and
Yes, it is.
We'll explain more in just a bit. All right, please share.
Okie dokie. And just like usually happens, what we got goes hand in hand. Today, the bell rings out for truth, which is the fruit of freedom. Its echo is heard from plane to plane, from dimension to dimension, permeating the realities of mankind. The vibrational level which follows this particular age will not allow the vibrations which came before it, for the lower vibrations carry too much dead weight. We have come to the point in our development as a species where our choice is to leave behind the dead weight. And so we carry on, lighter, brighter, into another age of enlightenment, perhaps golden in in color, unleashing the fullness of light as well as its experience. So we're headed towards something truly great. I can't wait.
as I named this episode earlier, on to 2025, but it's so much grander than the new year.
Yeah.
This is really our new lives. Right? It's a good way of saying it.
Mhm.
New kingdom.
Then yeah,
And
like
the crown
like
upon
said.
your
Mhm.
heads. To me, that's your energetic light that each of us carry. So remember, it's all of us, not just Royce and myself. It's
No,
all of
no,
us.
it's all of us.
Yeah. So it's really pretty cool. All right,
Yeah, we're just sharing what we experience, but it's on behalf of everybody.
It is. It is. All right. Earlier, excuse me for I gotta turn my page over here. Um, we could feel the energetic influences of these other beings when you walked in the house, and pretty much knew a few days ago that this was going to be a pretty big day. But I didn't know what that looked like. We'll do now, but you want me to just kind of start and
Go ahead.
You're going to do a lot of the talking, so on all the different things that we're seeing. So we may go back and forth as we remember, and we wrote a few notes down. So just to remember what we were seeing and experiencing. But you first saw the gray floor.
Yeah, these beings, the environment, I could see looked up very shiny, like it was in a ship. So
yeah, and lots of beans. I could see that. Reason I felt it's what's her name? Arlala. I want to say it the opposite, I can't even say Alara, but I got Arlala, whatever. But anyway, I could see her, but we could see a lot of beings, standing there waiting for us and watching. So that was pretty cool. But what happened next was kind of surprising to me, and that the gray glossy floor turned into like a screen, like it was glass, and they could see right down through that. It was like a portal or a camera, whatever.
Yeah, a way of viewing what's going on with us.
Yeah. Excuse me. So I can project, we can project ourselves up there, obviously, because you saw the glossy floor, and then we saw the floor be like glass or like a screen. And when I looked through what they were looking at, it looked like it was a few feet off of train tracks. I thought, I got a lot of humps. So how come I'm seeing train tracks? But and I kept seeing them. And so and then I actually saw Trump's face flash on and then out. But it was like, from the neck up, and I like, okay. So I'm thinking Trump train, what is this? So it's going to be explained in just a moment. So this is when was that earlier? Yeah. As I'm watching all this, I have a song going through my head. And I thought, how come the song, I'm watching and I keep singing, and I didn't want that to distract me. And then I thought, I wonder what I'm singing. You ever do that when you're singing a song in your background, and then
and all of a sudden you realize, wait a minute, I have a song in my head.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, is this, and I thought, oh, I wonder what this song is. And so it's really odd because you're almost in another state of being, but it's a very simple song. And the song was Joy to the World. I'm like, wow, okay. And then it makes sense. Soon as I recognized the song, then that singing in my head stopped. So I thought, aha. So there's the message. So sometimes songs will come into your head for a reason. And so pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's reason for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did, let's see. Oh, what the vision that I received then was like an accordion fold, We can see ourselves on camera, but like a zigzag, and each facet, if you want to call it as such, each facet you looked at was a facet of ourselves. And I see it as the lifetimes, or I guess it could be more than that, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that until just now.
Mhm.
All right, so that was pretty cool. And then um, I did hear New Day, New Dawn, capturing the full essence of self. And so that's what they were trying to show us, that we're capturing our full essence of ourselves. All right, you ready to jump in yet?
No, you hadn't finished yet.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is the biggie here. And then I heard, you've been trapped, and that entrapment is coming undone. Like, oh,
Hallelujah.
yeah. And the train tracks that I was seeing, I still could see them. Actually, it represented the fast trip that we're moving on Earth right now. So that's what the train tracks were all about, you know. And the train being on ground versus in the air. So that means Earth. So it might be more to it. I'm just not sure what that is yet. So like, wow. Okay.
But there's no stopping this train.
No stopping this train at all. All right. And so when this all came up, that word entrapment was big. And so we expanded on that. And go ahead, and then what we saw on the ship.
Okay. I started seeing myself like an archaeologist looking in a cave, and there were row upon row of hieroglyphics, and it was there was a spotlight being shined on certain hieroglyphs. So let me see. Oh, and then you back in time in the late 90s, 99 to be exact, we went to Egypt, and I got to stay just a little bit longer and go to the city of Tel El Amarna. And so Bev at this point saw me pop out of the ground at this certain place at Amarna. Now, before I arrived at Amarna, the night before, in vision, I saw myself go to this certain place, and it was a wide open plain, and there was a slight mounded place. And I went to that mound, and I knelt down and toned into the ground, and this darkness lifted out of the ground and disappeared. And so today, Bev saw me pop out of the ground there at that same place.
Now, explain what Amarna is.
Amarna is the city that Akhenaten, Pharaoh Akhenaten, built. He moved the city from where it had been to way out in the middle of the desert. So that's what that is.
Yeah, he moved the capital from Cairo to Amarna, correct? And then went back to Cairo.
Yeah,
right on that?
It was Thebes, wasn't it, before that?
Maybe so.
Okay. But anyway, it was he moved the whole capital, and built the whole city there, much to the chagrin of some people. So that's all right.
He was, if I recall, he was breaking off from the other pharaohs that have gone on before him.
Yeah, totally new religion, religion of one God, as opposed to the whole pantheon of gods that they had prior to that. So it was a whole different ball of wax.
Being one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you got the yin yang thing, the black and white.
Mm-hmm. I was, seeing, we're talking about the entrapment, and we're talking about dark and light, and how talking about the veil and perfect people. I'm trying to remember all of the stuff that we did see. So stay with us. But we've been living the yin yang, and so we've used dark and light, and you were seeing these beings that were all light, but they didn't really realize. Well, they got excited when they could see something that was a little bit different because they had not experienced it, which was the darkness, correct? Okay,
And
go ahead.
The on this side of what we refer to as the veil, we see the world of matter, and that world is the light and dark, the light and matter. And so we see it as the white color and the black color. A lot of people call it the yin yang, male female. The whole idea, the concept of opposing sides. And so that's kind of how we look at the world. That concept taints everything. We see it as, we can't understand the light unless you have the darkness, which is crap. There isn't any other way to say it. It's just that's not it at all. That darkness is matter. On the other side of the veil, the vibration is higher. The beings on the other side of the veil, what exists on the other side of the veil is that of light, more light. Going toward a phase of being able to not only exude more light or self-create more light, but to be more light, not just hold it, but to be more light. And so coming out of the world of the restrictions of matter into the fullness of the expression of light, unimpeded by matter. So nothing holding us back, which is what we truly are on the inside, and our being is that of light. And so we're heading back into that experience, the experience of light. Was that as clear as mud?
No. I hopefully everybody understood that, but the experience of light, which is what we truly are, but we decided to go into these vessels or bodies, whatever you want to call ourselves, these things, physical bodies, to experience different density. And then things changed on Earth, and now those shackles are, what we talked about before, but the shackles are now almost gone from what we received earlier today.
Yeah.
However, that
not being entrapped by the world of matter.
Now, I'm going to throw this in right now, because as we're discussing all of this and we're seeing the people on the ships are very human, watching and we're somewhat, I guess, participating in some ways, but we could see they were right with us as we're really trying to, explain to one another. It's really hard to say all this, isn't it? So anyway, all of a sudden I looked at the ship, and this light, it just permeated down all, over these and through these people that were sitting on the ship.
Like sparklies.
Yeah. It was like, wow. And they were like in awe. And they were just like looking around like this. And it was amazing. Then they forgot about us, which was fine. But it was like, really, it was like,
they were just trying to take it in. And that's when we realized what this was all about. You've heard us say the thing of where we go one, we go all. Where any of us,
beyond our physicalness,
where we understand, when we have an understanding, it's not just for us, but that understanding is for everyone. Where we go one, we go all. And so what we were understanding permeated through to where they were.
Yeah.
And they experienced that fullness
They-
as well.
They brought that light in.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And then we just said, hey, you guys do whatever you need to do. I call guys, I know it sounds irreverent, but anyway. and I could see the screen on the floor then just closed. And they were just basking in the newness of their own being.
Yeah.
And how they were affected. And sometimes we think of these people that are on these ships. Yeah, they're very advanced technologically, but in other ways they may not be as advanced even as us here on Earth. I'm not saying that we were the catalyst for change, but we assisted with it. And so unknowingly at first, and then we're like, wow, so. But to see this was really quite dynamic. And then we just closed, let them close and do their thing, and we did our thing. So it was just amazing to watch it and understand it, because we're thinking they're so elevated,
But they are elevated to a certain extent. But that doesn't mean that they're finished yet. We're not finished yet. Nothing here is finished yet.
There's no such thing as being finished.
Yeah. it's constantly becoming more. And that's the whole point. The whole point of life is to become more. And so we got to experience today what that looks like when we experience it, and we got to experience how it looks when it's passed on, when it's absorbed by others. It just makes my heart sing.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I hope you're all feeling it too. So it's like, then we went on to speak about how we take, if you want to call it the so-called darkness, but some of these things that we've experienced, not anything individualized through our experiences, but the basics of experiencing the yin yang, so light and dark, right? And so we're bringing more light into our body, but we still have that understanding that of what it is to be light, because we wouldn't be able to see it without the darkness being infiltrated into our beingness, which is now loosening.
Yeah, so we don't have to keep the darkness. We take with us the understanding of it, and that will be with us.
As we evolve.
Yeah, we take the understanding without like people talk about the emotional ties to the baggage, like it said in what I got earlier. The dead weight. We don't have to carry the dead weight with us.
Yeah. And we were talking at lunch too about the movie, because you watched it yesterday, maybe, about It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
That fit right in with what we're talking about.
Yeah. The Jimmy Stewart character in the movie, toward the end, he is shown what the world would be like if he wasn't here, if he had never existed. And it's that thing of an individual, how many lives that they touch. When we come into the world, you may get to that point to where you feel like, oh, what's the use? Why should I even be here anymore? I may as well be dead, But when you get to that point, if you can just look back to see all the people's lives that you have touched just by being here. Maybe there was somebody that you just smiled at in the grocery store, but that smile was that one thing that person needed to carry them through the day.
And they may have carried that on to somebody else that was maybe contemplating whatever, harming themselves, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Because of your smile. So it ripples on and on and on. So, as you said, where we go, when we go all. And so you can see why that was even brought up in the movie, The White Squall, because they all had to work together to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's what life is about.
Yeah,
one of the
that
things.
that when she made mention the White Squall, that was another movie that I love. But the mast bell on a teaching vessel, a seagoing vessel, uh, that's what was written on that bell. Where we go one, we
Sure.
go all.
Was it the initials or just the
It was a whole
whole
thing
thing?
written out.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, all right.
It's been a big day.
It has been a big day. We went and talked about the mind. I don't know if we want to go there or
Yeah,
not.
I know that's a deep subject.
Yeah, like, okay, what is the mind? But we'll get into that more unless you want to go now.
At another time.
Yeah, okay, we'll do it another time. What is the mind? And it's just put it this way, it's a lot more than just the brain that we use.
Yeah.
So it's all of this I can't see my hand. It's all this consciousness. So it's pretty amazing. We'll get more into that another day because I think that'll go into a deep conversation on what that's all about. But anyway, just to see how each one of us affects another,
Yeah.
and the understandings that we're taking along with us as we go through this so-called ascension process, or as we evolve, or whatever word you want to use.
Mhm.
But it is pretty well known that we are going through these processes, and otherwise we would see all the breakdowns in the world because they're not going to serve us anymore. So
Yeah, but we're
pretty
getting
cool.
to see the stuff to understand it, so we can take that understanding with us. You know, what brought us to this point of wanting to be more.
Yeah, but definitely, a lot of people are saying no more. Otherwise, this would not have happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are saying no more. We don't like this entrapment. We don't like the shackles. Blah 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 blah. And that's the darkness of it. But we're like, because we know there's so much more light as we awaken within ourselves.
Yeah.
And so we are bringing this light to the earth. Each one of us. As we saw what happened on that ship today, I was like, wow. So it was pretty cool to see this. And but that's all of us. That's all of us involved in doing what we're doing and how we affect others in either other parts of the universe. So pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pat ourselves on the back and we're gonna keep going. All right. All right. Any live listeners out there, if you have any questions, you can just type them in. We'll see them. And so far, no. All right. All right. Any other comments you have?
What are we finishing up now?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to everybody who listens. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm very grateful that Bev asked me to be a part of this. Like I've said a lot, it's nothing I ever saw myself doing.
I did.
She saw.
I did.
But I thank you very much. And I thank you for all that you are doing, because your part that you're playing here is immense. And we need you. And the world would not be the same without you. So keep on keeping on. And just know that it has not been for nothing. It's been for everything. So thank you so much. I love you. Thank you for staying.
And as Jimmy Stewart said, it's a wonderful life.
And it is.
All right. You all have a wonderful new year. And we'll be back in 12 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So exciting times ahead, and exciting times now. I mean, it really, everything's in the now. So enjoy. Just enjoy ourselves. There's all these old have-tos, and I think it's all choices, and they become want-tos for the most part.
Yeah, and when you see that something doesn't fit anymore, it's okay to just let it go.
Yeah, it is.
Take with you what feels good, right, and just.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. We love you all. Thank you. Yes, we do enjoy doing this, obviously.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'd love to share what what happened today was really pretty cool. So
Yeah.
I hope we explained it properly. So if you have any questions, it's okay. And we'll try to remember everything that went on. So,
Yeah, and for everybody who has made comment, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We do read it, and we are appreciative.
very much so. And thank you. By the way, shoot, we really haven't talked much about ourselves, and I know we've been on for a little over 35 minutes. So, but we do have both of us have books out there that has a lot of information for everybody. I'll speak of my books, then you can speak about yours. And three of my books that, man, shackles and all that, mask and all that. I know I've mentioned that before, but that's throughout, especially well, maybe all books, but I had no idea what I was talking about then. I do now. And so to me, even though they're written quite a few years ago, to me, they're very viable for today. And it's called The Mystery of the Universes, the first book, and the second book is The Mystery of the Universes, book 2, and third is Mystery of the Universes, book 3. So it's a prophecy fulfilled, all of them, even though that's the subtitle in my first book, that means that I prophesized this, what I was going to be doing. And it took me quite a while to understand that, but I do now. So it's really interesting. We prophesize our own lives, so it seems. All right, your books?
Yes, it was really funny. I had been writing a book called When the Night Comes Creeping for about 10 years because it was an unfoldment of what was happening in my life. It was kind of like my spiritual journey, what woke me up and made me start asking questions, and some really outrageous and wonderful experiences that I've had, and with not just people types, but many different types of beings. So, but while I was writing that, this other book on sacred geometry, which is entitled "Walking into the Eye of God," that horned right in and said, no, you're going to put me out first. And so I was actually writing two books at the same time. But I love sacred geometry. It's something that's been inside of me from ever since, my first doodles were geometric. So I just love it. It's in everything. It's how energy moves. It's just amazing stuff. So that's what that one is on. So the first one, walking when the night comes creeping, that's spiritual journey, and walking into the eye of God is sacred geometry. And I'm working on another sacred geometry book, which is really, really, really all inclusive. And so no telling when it'll be published, but it will at some point.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Well, and all our books are available on Amazon, and I know mine are on other. Yeah, yours are too. Yeah, so you can find them quite easily. And
you just look them up on the internet.
In fact, all the mind stuff, and we were talking about Through the Eye of God today, or excuse me, that's the name of your book, The Eye of Creation. Getting into the mind stuff. So it's something I'm going to be doing a little more research on. I think I wrote a book on that, or writing. Anyway, I got to look it up. So, all right, enough chit chat. Thank you very much for being here, and we love you all.
Have a good night.
Good night. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.